Hello, friend, and hello, fall. For me, the fall is all about the leafy greens. And so that's what I have planned for my September garden. Welcome to Planting Joy Garden. I want to share what's growing in my September garden. So let's start here. I am continuing to grow leafy green vegetables. This is my Swiss chard power. I'm able to harvest from here twice a week. I do try to remove the large leaves to allow the smaller leaves to grow on. So I'm growing Swiss chard from frost to frost. I also have one remaining determinate tomato plant. Is not looking the best. We have nighttime temperatures down in the 50s, but I'm just waiting to ripen some of my tomatoes so that I'm able to pull this plant. I also have my strawberries growing in here, and I have taken the time to remove some of the runners. And here is my indeterminate tomato, and it is doing quite well. So I think it's about 8 feet tall. I'm able to harvest pretty much every day. And I will cut in a clip of some of my daily harvest. And as you can see, there is lots of fruit still to come. And this is the Sweet 100. So it's a pretty tough cherry tomato. It's really great for Zone 5 growers. And so I plan on leaving this to grow until my first frost, which is in October. I also have some squash down here. This is my summer squash. And new for the fall, I have started some seedlings for my carrots that are coming up. So carrots is one of my fall crops. I have put in some garlic to overwinter, just a few bulbs as an experiment. I made sure that there were roots on my garlic bulb before I planted them. I have one casualty. I lost my sage, but I do have a little sprout coming up here. I continue to have celery that I'm harvesting from, and rosemary that I'm doing quite a bit of harvesting from. I do have a container strawberry here, and this is where I've been adding the runners, and I've also started a little planter here for strawberry runners. In this raised bed, I have mustards, and these I planted for fall growth. And I'm also growing in some spinach. And you can see I have germination with nighttime temperatures in the 50s and daytime temperatures in the 70s. This is the perfect time to plant out spinach seeds. Okay. And then we'll go over here. And I have my first planting of turnip greens. Now these greens are ready to be harvested. This is the purple top turnips. So I will be eating the bulbs as well as the greens. I also have a second sowing, my succession of turnips, and they've emerged. And so I'm going to have to harvest out some of these leaves to allow these to have more light. Okay. And then we'll come in to the actual garden. Here I have some arugula started, and I also have my winter squash. And I talked about this in one of my previous videos, and it's growing really well. So these are things I'm growing for food during the winter months. Here I have my pepper bed. Now I allow my peppers to grow up to the frost, well, until frost takes them out. And you can see that with the drop in temperatures, the peppers aren't growing as large. However, it is putting on more flowers. So with this drop in temperature, it kind of signals the plant that, hey, you need to produce seed, you need to flower, fruit, and drop seeds. So these are my macones here, and they're putting on flowers. My basil is tolerating the 50-degree nights pretty well. My shishito also is producing flowers. And I have one more shishito here. Okay, so I am going to insert a photo of my harvest. I am able to harvest every day to every 2 days off my shishito. So I'll insert that photo here. I also have some cilantro growing in. I dropped some seeds in the area where I had it growing previously, and they have germinated with these cooler soil temperatures. I got immediate germination. Okay, I also have some bunching onions, and I need to come in, harvest, and clean this up a little bit. I have more Swiss chard here that needs to be harvested. I need to get the big leaves off just to trigger the plant to continue to produce leaves. I have an abundance of basil here. Here is my dried basil for use during the winter. I have my ornamentals, so I have another round of flowers, and the bumblebees are just loving this corner between the purple flowers on the hostas and my black-eyed Susan. This has been a bee haven. I also came out and noticed that my volunteer tomato here is really producing. Now, I don't water this, I don't fertilize, it's just self-maintenance, and this is a Sweet 100 volunteer tomato here. Okay, I did a hard chop on my yarrow here, and as you can see, it's blooming. Okay. I'm also starting to get flower heads on my sedums there, and these will bloom a nice deep pink. I have my thyme, and I've been harvesting quite aggressively on the thyme, and I'll insert a photo of how much I've collected. My hibiscus is continuing to flower. It is tolerating the cool nights, but as you can see, we're coming to an end of its season pretty soon. I also have my rose, which has outgrown its arbor, or should I say it's outgrown its oblique. Okay, I have some sweet alyssums. I did a hard chop on these, and as you can see, it's starting to grow back in. I also have my zinnias that are starting to branch out, and they are quite beautiful. My ferns have taken a beating, and this is about the time of year where I will just kind of shear them back. The hostas, I don't shear these back until very late in the season. I like to leave areas for insects and hiding places for my frogs for as long as possible. And this is my hydrangea. This is the Annabelle. It had very large white blooms, but as the season progresses, it goes from white to green into a very brown, and it's a wonderful structure and form in a fall garden. And right next to that are my beautiful black-eyed Susans. As I mentioned, the bees just love it. And here I have some oregano, and I've been harvesting aggressively from here, and I will insert my harvest. And here's my dried oregano for winter use. And I also have a few marigolds stuck here and there. So we'll do another little quick turnaround. And this is my fall garden. I'm still growing. I will grow until my first frost takes out everything. I will continue to produce food and flowers in my garden. Now is a great time to get your seedlings in, or if you haven't, direct sow those things that grow quickly in the fall season. Things like spinach, your carrots who can tolerate really low temperatures, your mustards, your turnips. So it's all about the leafy greens for me during the fall season. Thank you for joining me in the garden. Have an amazing day. Who the sun sets free is free indeed.